I know you've been doing mock draft roundups, so we're going to take a look at some of the last ones, the last couple of ones that have gone on. So Ben Standing from The Athletic says T.J. Tampa, cornerback, Iowa State. If they take a cornerback, you can be sure it's going to be pretty successful because they've done a really good job at drafting cornerbacks. Chad Reuter, NFL.com, Ajarian Cooper, linebacker from Texas A&M. Matt Miller from ESPN.com. Tavondre Sweat, defensive tackle from Texas. And Josh Edwards, CBS Sports, the guy we were just talking about, Malachi Corley, wide receiver from Western Kentucky. And again, we have no idea, just because it's going to be a guy that they think he can play in the league for a number of years. And see Martin Emerson, see DeJuan Jones.
Exactly. And I think, too, don't count out them trading up if there's somebody they really want. Don't count out them trading down if there's not really anybody they see a ton of value in the second round and they can get some more picks back to use or barter with later. I mean, I think that you just can't count out any scenario with this front office right now just because things are so much less certain when you don't have a first round pick. You're counting on a lot of chance. You're counting on the board to fall your way. And it makes it hard to make guesses, but I'm kind of liking, for as much as I talk about this trend of talking about their needs and what they might do, it has been interesting doing these roundups just to see the trend kind of shifting away post them trading for Judy. And here's some of the other names that guys are throwing out there as potentially available, because I do think they're not married to a wide receiver. Even the last 2 years when we thought that, we haven't seen them really go about that the way that we thought. So I'm definitely fascinated. I think there's so much left up to chance. I'm sure there's going to probably be a really good chance they draft somebody that's not on anybody's boards or mock drafts up until this point, because I never saw Cedric Tillman mocked to the Browns. I never saw Martin Emerson mocked to the Browns 2 years ago.
Yeah, and again, they've worked out pretty well. The other thing is there might be a guy, and again, JOK jumps to mind. There was a guy that they saw that they thought, okay, he's fallen. That's the only way they go up. If they go up and get somebody, it's somebody that they really liked.
Yeah, Mary Kay Cabin and I have discussed that recently as well, that, hey, don't count that out. Just because we haven't seen them do it in 2 years, they did it with JOK. There was a guy who they thought was a first rounder. I mean, again, they were between Greg Newsome or JOK with their first round pick that year. They went with Greg, and then nobody picked up JOK, and they were like, oh my gosh, we can still get this guy who we have graded as a first round talent. Let's do it. So again, I mean, I think that is all in terms of they're going to do what they think is best in terms of how you have to remember Andrew Berry thinks about this stuff as what would I do if I was building an expansion team? So you kind of have to throw positional value out the window a little bit, which I know sounds backwards for a lot of fans, but it's how they've operated. And as we've talked about, without first round picks, it's mostly worked in their favor.